One, and we're live.
We are live. Welcome back to another fantastic and phenomenal episode of Reason, Religiously Educated Atheists, Secularists, and Other Non-Theists. I'm here live tonight with the one and only Godless Engineer.
Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing?
Oh, we're getting some echo.
Are
I think it's just me, though.
oh,
We're
okay,
also here tonight with Dieter, the guy whose voice makes the ladies moist.
Oh my. Hello, everybody.
If only we could engineer a person, with Godless Engineer's technical know-how, Dieter's voice, and my sexy body, we might just create the perfect person. But anyway, we've got a lot of interesting topics for you tonight, such as New Science this week, Hypocrite of the Week. We're also going to be talking about National Coming Out Day, and I'm going to be ragtagging on Columbus Day. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hit some new science this week.
Okay, everyone. So this is actually a rather old article, but it's been brought up to light in the last couple of weeks, I guess last month, and I just really wanted to talk about it because it's just freaking fascinating. So in a small community in the Dominican Republic, there exists a huge proportion of this community, children, mind you, are known as, I don't even know why I'm attempting to pronounce this, Guevedoces, which translates to penis at 12. Now, keep watching, because this is really interesting. These children actually have this disorder known as 5-alpha reductase. You see, when children are developing in the womb, they're kind of this androgynous, mostly female-esque body. And then when a certain enzyme activates testosterone, it turns it into a different form, and then it becomes a really powerful androgen. And that's something that really, jumpstarts the male reproductive development. So, testes descend to outside the body, penis begins growing, etc., etc. That doesn't happen with these kids. Any of them. Or at least a large population of them. So they'll actually all be born totally looking female. But then all the ones that are, I guess, secretly boys, all of their reproductive organs will just be all up inside them. And then once puberty starts, and the same general process starts to begin that normally would happen in the womb, they'll just up and grow a penis. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I find this just friggin' fascinating. What do you guys think?
I think it's pretty interesting. When I first saw the story, I wondered if perhaps some more, investigation can be done on this, and they can figure out exactly why it's happening. And maybe this can actually help a lot of transgender people out if there is some scientific explanation. Well, there is going to be a scientific explanation. But if it's something that we can manipulate and recreate, then perhaps it might be able to be used in transgender studies and also surgeries or hormonal therapies and all that other good stuff.
One of the people that wrote a paper on this, she surmised that hormones in the womb matter more than rearing when it comes to your sexual orientation. So how you develop in the womb has so much to do with how you develop outside the womb, which is interesting. And I think there is a completely scientific explanation. I tried to hash over pretty quickly. There's an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase, which normally converts testosterone into dihydrotestosterone, and that's the thing that really jumpstarts the fetal male development. And it just doesn't happen in these kids. Freaking interesting.
There's got to be a reason for it, though.
Yeah.
It's got to be not necessarily
why this is
a
actually
reason,
happening
but an explanation.
True.
So this doesn't. So just to be
Semantics.
clear, this doesn't happen until 12, right? Or much
When
later outside the
puberty
womb.
onsets, so there's kind of a range of when it actually happens. But
Right,
that's the
right.
idea.
So basically, God made a mistake, and he didn't wait until later to correct it. I get it.
Obviously.
Yeah.
No, you see, in the Dominican Republic, children's souls don't enter them until they go into puberty.
Oh, really? Their souls are
Yep,
delayed that long?
that is my scientific interpretation of this data.
No, wait. Could that be because of like, could they not like get good cell signal down there? Is that what the problem is, or?
I'm starting to think it's because they're not necessarily white enough. And as we all know, white Americans, specifically, are the ones that have God's most powerful blessings.
Well, they're the only ones that really deserve to be here, right?
I'm sorry?
Those are the ones that only really deserve to be here. So it's just kind of like they have to find their way to these extra bodies, right? I mean...
Yeah, because we know that God's chosen people were Caucasian Europeans.
Well, now look.
No,
if you ask
Americans, Aeolus, Americans.
Yeah, correct yourself, buddy. Real Americans.
Before America existed,
Real Americans.
God's favorite people were Americans.
Look, you see this complexion right here? Yeah, this is called real American. I don't want to hear nothing about this Native American stuff. We're real.
My ancestors might have emigrated here only 2 generations ago, but I am more American.
More American.
So I think this transitions nicely into Aeolus's section of this conversation.
Yes. So, I guess we can go ahead since we kind of joked around, toyed into this.
Do you guys have anything else to really say on this? I just really wanted to talk about it because the biology behind this is freaking fascinating.
Well, I think it...
Sexual dimorphism doesn't necessarily have to happen inside of the womb. It can happen afterwards.
Right.
Which, that must be... So, like, everyone, like, the 3 of us went through puberty at some point in our lives, and we know it's kind of awkward, stuff grows, hair and whatever. These people grow a dick. Like, that must have been... Obviously, it's normal in this community, but once it first started saturating that community, that must have been a conversation.
Growing your dick yet, Johnny?
It's like, Mommy, I don't understand.
Actually,
what's this growing out of between my legs? I don't get it. What's it for?
Well, I can just
Sarah,
imagine...
did you grow your dick yet?
Well, why, Sarah? That is a lovely dick you have growing. Dang, girl.
I wish this article had testimonials because, like, obviously a bunch of kids there must have been like, yeah, this is just how life is. I mean, you turn 12, you grow a dick sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
I wonder how their view of the different genders is down there or over there. I forget where Dominican Republic is in relation to us.
Yeah.
But I wonder how that works for them. Like, are they more like egalitarian? Like in that particular community?
I'm not sure.
See, there's patriarchy. Only the real men start off as women, and then they grow a dick.
They escape womanhood through sheer willpower.
Yeah. Well, I think it would. I think it would be very interesting to see how the culture, how that particular aspect has actually affected the culture. But speaking from a scientific perspective, I think that it's pretty interesting, just because, like, we see this elsewhere in nature. Because there's the whole Jurassic Park thing where they use DNA from a frog, and the particular frogs that they pull from, in it that they pull from these specific frogs that actually can change sex in the wild if there's not enough diversity in the different sexes, right? And so they'll actually change sexes. So I mean, we do see this elsewhere in different circumstances, So I think that it's really interesting.
Hey, we're being corrected via text message. It's actually Dominica, not the Dominican Republic. 2 different countries.
Okay. I will feign ridiculous
that
ignorance.
one was all on Dieter because I didn't report on this one. So, boom.
No, that's perfectly fine. My apologies if my location is incorrect. That's perfectly fair.
All right, so
But
let's go ahead and transition into this disastrous federal holiday known as Columbus Day. Uh, where do you want to start? Every year I give a kind of sort of presentation on this because I'm a special emphasis coordinator. And basically the same year it's everything. Look at that. Let's celebrate the only illegal immigrant in history that Republicans respect.
well, I mean, do you want to go into like the basic history of it? Because I mean,
Well, I think most people get the basic history. I just wanted to outline a little bit about Columbus and then talk about why it should not be a federal holiday. So if you'll allow me.
Sure. I just want to make sure you mention how it became a holiday, because that's just a fun story.
I'll let you handle that one. I'm gonna spit out some facts real quick and then we'll.
Oh yeah, go for it.
All right, so in the book where I'm getting a lot of this information from, there's several different books. One of them is 1491. The other one is Christopher Columbus: The Voyage That Changed the World by Emma Carlson Byrne. I'll send you guys some links and we'll put them in the description box. But anyway, she writes that Columbus spoke frequently about his desire to spread Christianity to heathen cultures, and it was a popular cause during the time. In fact, when he actually wanted to take his initial journey to the New World, it was denied. It was overturned by Father Perez, I believe his name was, and he actually told them that they would be able to convert more people to Christianity. They would be able to convert heathens to Christianity. They thought that was a fantastic idea, so they approved the journey. So, in case you didn't know, Columbus was very religious and believed that God had called him to make these voyages, and many of the names that he gave places that he supposedly discovered were religious names. So, did you have something you want to say?
Oh, no. Sorry.
When Columbus landed in the New World, he believed that he had reached the Indies. This is important because all of the native people, even today, are sometimes still referred to as Indians when it's actually Native Americans. The real Indians are on the other side of the planet. Columbus was not the first European to set sail across the Atlantic Ocean. Some 500 years earlier, the Norse Viking, correct this pronunciation if it's wrong, Leif Erikson, Leif, is believed to have landed in present-day Newfoundland around the year 1000. Some historians and academics also say that Ireland's St. Bernard and other Celtic people crossed the Atlantic before him. And in fact, Lowen reports that 2 natives actually crossed the Atlantic 1,000 years prior to that in a rowboat, which is crazy to cross the Atlantic in a rowboat. So if that really happened, you got to give them their props, man. That must have been quite the journey. Columbus brought with him European diseases like the flu, measles, and smallpox, which probably killed over 90% of the population. Different historians put that number ranging from 20 million to 100 million. There's no real way for us to know since we couldn't count the population. Columbus was intensely interested in gold, so he imposed a gold tribute system. Every native adult would supply a certain quota of gold dust on a regular schedule. If they did, they were given a token to wear around their necks. If they didn't, they had their hand chopped off. The Taino population was completely extinct, which is where he landed there in Haiti initially, within 50 years of the Europeans' first landfall. This was due to murder and desperate suicides, as well as declining birth rate. However, disease was the most devastating factor, as we discussed previously, in their demise. Columbus and the Spaniards unleashed their most deadly cargo, which is far more deadly than anything that they brought, including the guns and other weapons, which were those diseases that we talked about, smallpox, measles, and influenza. Some settlers wrote home about the unbearable stench of rotting bodies that filled the air from all of the death that was happening from these diseases. Because Columbus destroyed the native population of Haiti, the Taino Indians, he began shipping African slaves to the island. This move has had consequences reaching into the modern day, as he instigated the slave trade single-handedly, and he was able to severely disrupt the economies of 3 different continents. A section from Columbus's logbook notes that the natives would make fine servants. With 50 men, we could subjugate them and make them do whatever we want. He later wrote, "Let us in the name of the Holy Trinity go on sending all the slaves that can be sold." I'm going to wrap it up here, but I'm going to take a look at one of the journals from Columbus's men and read you a quote from that journal. It's the go-to quote because it really describes the interactions that Columbus and his people had with the natives. Here's the quote. "While I was in the boat, I captured a very beautiful Carib woman the Lord Admiral gave to me, and with whom, having taken her into my cabin, she being naked, according to their custom, I conceived desire to take pleasure. I wanted to put my desire into execution, but she did not want it, and treated me with her fingernails in such a manner that I wished I had never begun. But seeing that, to tell you the end of it all, I took a rope and thrashed her well, for which she raised such unheard of screams that you would not have believed your ears. Finally, we came to an agreement in such a manner that I can tell you that she seemed to have been brought up in a school of harlots." So later in his life, Columbus began to write a bizarre book titled The Book of Prophecies. In this book, he insisted that all voyages had been divine missions directed by God. He believed that the world was coming to an end and that he was single-handedly bringing it about. So within just a few generations, I'd like to reiterate this major point because Native Americans probably went from a sizable population of upwards of 20 to 100 million to basically 5% or less of our population today. So within just a few generations, the continents of the Americas, including all of those islands, were virtually emptied of their native inhabitants. And as I said, some academics estimate that at least 20 million people may have died in the years following the European invasion, which is estimated to be 90 to 95% of the entire population of the Americas. So basically, I think that we need to do away with Columbus Day as a federal holiday. Not only is it an insult to all Native American people, but it's an insult to a fraudulent history because he did not discover America. There were people already living here for at least 20,000 years before he even arrived. And it's also a disgrace to someone that I admire as a great person of history, which is MLK, because the United States government recognizes two individuals for federal holidays. That's MLK and Columbus. And I think that starting off the year celebrating MLK and his achievements with the civil rights movement, and then ending the year by celebrating Columbus is a slap in the face to civil rights everywhere, including for Native Americans. So personally, I subscribe to the idea that Columbus Day should no longer be recognized. And if we want to recognize something, we should do what most states like California, there are some cities in Oklahoma, there's also Albuquerque last week just recognized Indigenous Peoples Day. So I think that instead of celebrating Columbus Day, we should be celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day. And we should continue to educate people and increase awareness on just how horrible the history is. And I think Dieter's going to tell you guys about how it became a federal holiday. Do you want to talk about it?
Well, hold on. I want to interject real quick. So let me get this straight. Tomorrow, the government has off, post offices are closed, schools are out, and this guy basically wrote a glorifying rape diary, as well as started the slave trade. With huh?
More or less, yeah.
You put it in the best terms possible.
I know,
one
right?
Thing you didn't really preface that's kind of important is Columbus himself may or may not have landed in the central part of the United States, but he he opened the door. Lots of people.
I don't think he ever landed in mainland America. He only landed in his 4 journeys in the islands.
I have to say I'm very mad right now because I would have paid so much more attention in high school if the teacher had led off with, okay, so here's a page from Columbus's diary and
But if we
it's
knew
like,
about that, I think even in high school we would have been like, we're celebrating what?
no, exactly. It's like it's like wait, hold on. What now? It's like because in high school or in school in general, they paint this fantabulous picture of Christopher Columbus discovering America and manifest destiny and all this other stuff, and he was being oh so nice to the native, and it's like no, he was whipping them and raping them in his cabin.
Chopping off hands.
So there's a couple more stories of him that I wanted to add before I went to the other stuff. He was his what do they call them? Shitmates. His crew were so disgusted with his actions that they captured him and presented him to, I believe it was the Spanish crown.
Yeah. Yep.
From Spain. So the Spanish crown.
Arrested.
And he was arrested. They pardoned him and let him go out and collect them more gold.
Not let him. They sent him and financed another journey.
They sent him. Yes. He also sold people into sex slavery, including children. There's nothing redeemable about this guy. If he stole his first boat, I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, the worst thing is a lot of us tie into. I wanted to kind of address this with my points there, but a lot of us know what he did to the natives and things like that. But a lot of people didn't really know that he is also responsible for instigating the slave trade. Like when he wiped out all of those Indians and then sent African slaves to America, he basically set the foundation for African slaves coming to America. So not only is he the worst offender on the native front, but also on the African front as well.
Now here's we go into the history, our modern history of this. Now, although a lot of his crew decided to go into the priesthood to try to atone for their sins, Columbus himself also, I believe, considered himself a Catholic. Now, in the 1930s, the group called the Knights of Columbus, a fairly radical, I guess you call them fraternity, Catholic fraternity or something. They were a fraternal Catholic benefits group, whatever you want to call them. They were a huge lobby that supported Franklin D. Roosevelt, and they wanted to get a Catholic person to be their representative holiday kind of guy, a holiday based off of a Catholic. And in 1937, Franklin Delano Roosevelt made it happen. That's basically it. He was Catholic. That was it. That's all they needed. They needed a famous Catholic, and they chose Columbus?
What?
That's basically that's the history of why it's a holiday. I couldn't really find much else.
Despite the fact that he was almost more than half of his journeys ended in disaster and destruction. He was shipwrecked multiple times. He almost barely survived. There was mutiny on board. He had all these issues. He also had flawed maps, flawed perceptions of the world. He thought that the world was pear-shaped because of the issues. He thought he was ending up in the Indies, and he actually ended up in America, blah, blah, blah. For some reason, he's still supposedly respected as one of the top and most, advanced dead reckoning sailor that there ever was. And that's probably, despite all of the horrors that he did, supposedly he was a great sailor. And that somehow is supposed to make up for it, and he's supposed to be a great and respectable Catholic because of that.
Well, what does this guy need to do? What do we have to discover about him that will make us not want to venerate him anymore?
Well, okay, ask yourself this question first.
Does he have to rip out children's hearts and eat them on camera retrospectively and in the future somehow? What do you need? What do you need to hate him?
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's a lot like asking, well, what would it take to hate who's that Catholic woman who
Mother Teresa?
Mother Teresa, yeah. I mean, she liked to watch people suffer. I mean, she withheld medicine from people, and she's venerated as a saint. in friggin' the Catholic faith. So, I mean...
Did I answer my own question, I guess?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is this. Now let's look at this from... The chances that FDR knew all of this stuff are probably extremely low. We've seen, especially with this most recent election cycle, that politicians really don't know jack squat about anything. But I think, and he's one of my favorite presidents. But this is like one of the things that he did that I was just so upset about, so ashamed about, is that you instituted a federal holiday without properly investigating this. Is this guy worthy of being recognized by the entire United States, the greatest country in the world, supposedly, especially at that time they believed after they recovered from the Great Depression. But really, come on, man, can we not investigate and talk about this and debate about it and things like that? But also on the other side of things, when you look at American history, what is American history really? American history is basically guns, the genocide of Native Americans, and the slave trade of Africans. So, can we really be surprised that this guy is being honored and respected by our government? It was just in the 1970s when we, hysterectomies, when we forced hysterectomies on 3,000 Native women. It's all throughout the 1900s we were doing shit to Africans and Native Americans. So should this really surprise us?
What was the reasoning behind forcing hysterectomies on Native American women?
Fixing them so they can't. I would have to look that up, but basically we know what it was. Just like the stories about the real Black Wall Street and all of the things that happened throughout, from the time that we instituted a government until, we still have rampant racism, so has it really ever ended? But government-sanctioned actions against Natives and Africans, or African Americans and Native Americans, have been happening a lot more than you would think, especially as recently as in the last half century. So many things have happened in the last half century that you wouldn't even believe were still happening, just like those forced hysterectomies. Can we move on? Can we move on now? It's depressing. It's really fucking sad, man. That we're
needless to say, for once in my life, I think I'm actually going to post on Facebook or something the screw this holiday, let's celebrate something else.
Well, interesting to bring that up because I believe it was Indiana, or no, Oklahoma, actually, that passed Indigenous Peoples Day.
It was a city in Oklahoma, but the most significant one was Albuquerque, New Mexico. That happened last week because Albuquerque is the largest city in New Mexico, and it has the most concentrated. The largest concentration of natives in New Mexico. There we go.
Well,
I'm always kind of weird on having a holiday about a specific type of person. But you know what? We can give it a shot. Why not?
It's happening. On the West Coast and the Midwest, a lot of places have done away. Entire states have done away. I think Seattle is a state that is completely done away with Columbus Day. I think California was the first state that did away with it.
Oh no, I'm totally cool with that.
But on the East Coast, I'm not aware of any places that have done away with it.
We could totally pull, just have a diversity holiday. Anything but Columbus Day, honestly. We could have Chocolate Day. I would be happy.
Well, the thing is, if we're gonna celebrate Columbus Day for so long, we at least need to kind of correct it. And I think that's the idea behind Indigenous Peoples Day, is that we need to actually, we've celebrated this moron, this barbarian for so long. Let's actually give the people back what we should be celebrating, which is Indigenous Peoples Day.
I would like to take a second though,
Why not?
and
Why not?
yeah, I'd like to take a second though, and actually give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us tonight. Before the internet, Amoral Atheist, Torva, Godless Help, and as well as let's see, I know. I want to say I saw other people, but I guess not. Godless Help just joined us. If you want to join in on the chat, please do. The chat is there for you guys to conversate with us. Let us know your thoughts and opinions, and we would love to hear them. But now, let's see. I brought up this article from the Washington Post talking about more cities are celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day as an effort to abolish Columbus Day. And it's saying, for the past 81 years, Americans have celebrated Columbus Day on the second Monday of October. That won't change this year, but a growing number of cities are seeking to abolish the traditional holiday and replace it with a day that acknowledges and celebrates the millions of people who were already living here when Christopher Columbus arrived. This year, the recast holiday known as Indigenous Peoples Day will take place in at least 9 cities across the United States, including Albuquerque, New Mexico, Anadarko, Oklahoma, Portland, Oregon, St. Paul, Minnesota, and Olympia, Washington. This might be an old article. No, it was posted today. I guess that was the Oklahoma... Hold on, let me get... Okay, yeah. That's the Anadarko, Oklahoma is where they passed it this year. Last year, the Seattle City Council unanimously voted to change the federal Columbus Day holiday to Indigenous Peoples Day, making it the second U.S. city after Minneapolis to adopt the change. The holiday's new designation follows a decades-long push by Native American activists in dozens of cities across the country to abolish Columbus Day. They had mixed but increasingly successful results, according to the Associated Press. The next community to consider the change is Oklahoma City, where local leaders are scheduled this week to vote on a bill implementing Indigenous Peoples Day. And then it talks about that, of course.
The chances of this happening are, like right now, are pretty low. I mean, we'd have to... I don't even know how many members of Congress we have that are Native Americans. The last time I checked, it was only like 2 or 3. It might even be down to 1 now. So, I mean, who is really going to push this? We don't have a Native president.
Well, I mean, it depends on how it's played. If you go on the route of like, oh, so you're a member of Congress, I see, or this, like, whichever branch can actually make this decision, it would just be like, oh, so you support child rape, slavery, and destroying people's lives for gold. Interesting. That's very interesting. I should probably tell everyone on social media about this.
That's probably exactly what they support. I mean, look at those rich fuckers.
Not all rich people are evil, Aeolus.
No, they're not, but the members of Congress are, except for Bernie Sanders. And maybe Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, I would like to point out this meme that's up here right now. It's apparently from Christopher Columbus himself. The Indians are so naive and so free with their possessions that no one who has not witnessed them would believe it. When you ask for something they have, they never say no. To the contrary, they offer to share with anyone. They would make fine servants. With 50 men, we could subjugate them all and make them do whatever we want. I mean, to be honest, this just seems like the conservative Christian right in a nutshell to me. I mean, yeah. Because, I mean, honestly, I mean, if you know, the conservative Republicans are so stingy with their stuff. I mean, they don't want to give anything away. And this is the exact reason why. They know what happens when you start giving stuff away. People take it.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of in that meme, it kind of highlights the society somewhat of the natives, and, you know, it's a very peaceful society. It's not at all the type of savagery that was depicted by some of our founders and the people that instituted things like the Trail of Tears and stuff like that. The natives were pretty peaceful people and actually had civilizations comparable to Europe at the time. So if you'd like, you can do some further research on that and find out that the natives would have been doing just fine had those crazy white folk never shown up.
Yeah.
There are also some interesting facts that you can probably learn from doing some research, like that I think Columbus, it may have been him, but regardless, some Europeans that came here are responsible for horses being here in America, just like the potatoes going back over to Europe, kind of really is what gave Europe that boom. They got those carbs in their system, man. So there's a lot of other interesting things besides the diseases that they communicated back and forth. There are also other like livestock, plants, vegetables, things like that. Some pretty interesting things and how they affected civilization here in North America as well as in Europe. So if you'd like, do a little further research on that. But I think we're going to go into National Coming Out Day. That is today. October the 11th. It is the National Day to Come Out. And I think it usually is regarding sexuality, right? It's not for atheists, unfortunately.
Oh, you can do whatever you want. It's Coming Out Day.
Well, since it's Coming Out Day, I'd like to come out. I'm coming out. I'd like to announce, actually we've announced this on the show before, but I'd like to come out as a lesbian because I am a male living with Chappelle syndrome, which genetically makes me a female, and I'm attracted to women. So there you have it. I just came out. I am a lesbian.
By the crazy definitions of biology?
Oh, that's really fun. That's also an interesting thing to bring up when it's an interesting thing to bring up when feminists are like, you can't understand the plight of women because you're not a woman. Like, well, technically,
you have passing male privilege. Which is the thing, apparently.
No, I get it, but I do like messing with them. Like, actually, I'm an XX male. Boom.
Now, I'm kind of curious as to how that works. Like, I guess I just don't understand the biology of it. Like, how you can be, XX but still be male. Like, I thought you had to have that Y gene.
In some cases, the Y is actually makes up like half or less than half. And basically, it's included in one of the X chromosomes. Everything that you need, supposedly. In my case, I'm not sure. I just had a couple things being done. And that's when me and my doctor discovered this. We found out when I was 20. So we weren't actually, that was not one of the things or one of the reasons why I went to the doctor. It was something else, and we discovered along the way that I had 2 X chromosomes. But I've heard that there are other ways that you can be a female but become a male, such as if you are exposed to too much testosterone in the womb, you can develop male features in a male body having 2 X chromosomes, and technically that's not any genetic deficiency or abnormality. You just were exposed to too much testosterone. So there's so many ways, and that's just one way, but there's supposedly in the womb 300 different mutations that can occur.
Well, yeah. So I was curious about just how that worked exactly, but I'm glad that you were able to use this opportunity to come out and let people know about it. I'm gonna come out right now. I am a straight cis white man, and I feel so ashamed by it.
It's true, folks. Every day he just flogs himself just to feel something other than shame.
He wants to feel your pain.
Yeah.
Okay, in the spirit of things, I think I will join as well. Since so many people in this community can't, either through different circumstances, can't come out because their families wouldn't approve, or if they're too afraid. I am in a position where I'm perfectly fine, so I think I will as well. Hello, everyone. I'm Dater Lucum, and I am bisexual.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Does that mean you be checking me out, son?
Actually, no. I don't like muscleheads.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't like beefcakes.
Because I've noticed, like, he makes a lot of comments about me. Like, when we were at PastaCon, like, these chicks were hitting on me or whatever. And he was like, man, Atheist is really cute, though. Look at that smooth face he's got.
I will admit to anybody that asks that you are an incredibly fit individual. And yes, your skin is, like, astonishingly smooth.
It's called
on his face. Theater. The only part that I've seen up close.
It's called makeup theater. Moving on.
Hey. Whatever, man. No, but it's actually kind of funny. People have been asking, like, off and on, because I'll make side comments kind of like, me and the gay community. And, like, people ask, are you included in that? Are you gay, Dieter? And actually, to people's credit, they would go like, why is that a relevant question? It doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. Well, it does kind of matter. And I think I have been reluctant to say so for so long because, like, I've said it offhand a couple times, but now I'm going to actually make a big deal out of it. I think it's just because I've been nervous of being judged for something I can't control, as opposed to, like, my opinions or the way I present myself to everyone online. So, screw that. Judge me as much as you want. Because if you're going to judge me on that, then you are an asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was gonna say that the whole reason that I brought up and asked, were you checking me out, is because that is actually no, seriously, but that's actually a response that people get, like, when they come out. Suddenly, members of the same sex, they think that, you've been checking me out all along, or now I don't feel safe around you because you're going to check me out. It's like, bitch, people are checking you out all day, all the time. That's what happens. People check you out. Male
but it's
or
also
female.
Just super funny. It's like it's the most, like, self-absorbed thing you can say. It's like, yes, clearly I, as, like, presumably a heterosexual male, am so gorgeous that even people that know I'm straight find me incredibly, insatiably attractive. I'm sorry. No. I have a very particular type when it comes to that category. And chances are, you do not fall in it.
Well, I've told you before, your voice is like
the
harp of the gods. So...
Well, now, I do have to say...
My voice does bring all the boys to the yard.
and they're like, it's better than yours. No,
damn
okay.
Right. It's better than yours.
Damn right.
Okay, but no, okay, I get two things to bring up.
Super liberating. I'm really happy.
Good. Well, I have two things, because I'm in a curious position, because, like, I'm in the position of, I really don't care what, so as long as, like, I like, 9-year-old girls, kind of thing. I really don't care about someone's sexuality. So it's like, hey, I'm bisexual. Good for you. You seeing anybody? Anybody at all? Kind of thing. And so, like, when anybody has ever told me that they are gay or anything like that, like, it hasn't even, like even when I was Christian, like my parents, they would be like, hey, John, you know that this other guy over here that you've been hanging out a lot with, he's gay. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Thanks for the warning.
I don't. These were that. Well, no, yeah, these were my parents, and so I was just like, I don't care. I was like, I really don't, and so like I was kind of the odd sheep, or I was the black sheep of the family, but I mean that kind of leads me into the next thing is that oddly enough, how like Dieter, you are really you were really timid about being judged about something that you can't control. Well, when I was growing up, I was actually shamed for being straight, basically. Or not really being straight, but being just sexual in general. Like my stepfather, he would shame me with gay jokes, but at the time, it's one thing to joke about it, between guys or something like that, but when it's on a consistent basis and it's like really mean gay jokes, at some point you're just like, it becomes offensive. Like, it's like I'm not taking it as a joke anymore. And so it made me feel really insecure about my own sexuality. And, I mean, I don't think that it's anything like what any member of the LGBT community ever goes through. But, I still felt that same, shame, that toxic shame that's placed on sex in general in a Christian home. And so, that's kind of where I'm coming from on it.
Fair enough.
I had a lot of gay friends, and
that means he's cool, guys.
a lot of them came out in high school. It was probably like my junior year. There was a homecoming where there was a person who got up, it was the finale of the homecoming, and was doing all of these crazy dances, and they were like in bikini garb, and they had a mask on, and then he pulled the mask off, and it turned out it was like the most popular guy in our high school, and he basically, with that presentation, came out as gay. I mean, if you're a gay person, that's gotta be like, I gotta say, man, it was an awesome presentation. Like, he did his fucking thing out there dancing, he pulled the mask off, and he shocked the entire school. And that set off, like, a sequence of events of people coming out. And so we found out, that there were a lot of gay people. And even as a Christian, because I was at that time, I didn't look at them any differently. And a lot of them were kind of shocked because most people, being in a very ignorant hub of the South, kind of disowned them as friends or stopped talking to them and just kind of started discriminating against them. And I was just like, you know what? Like, you were gay before and you were cool with me. It doesn't change because you announced that you were gay. And I think that is really the thing that people should focus on. Studies have shown that just knowing someone who is gay or being friends with them, and the same goes with atheism, just knowing someone who is an atheist or being friends with them significantly increases the way that you perceive atheists and homosexuals. You actually see them as people, which is how you should fucking see everyone. Hence why we promote humanism so much here on the Reason Show. At the end of the day, funny. Like, we're all filthy, stinky humans, so...
You were left on such a high note, you just had to ruin it.
Yeah, no. I just have to do it.
It's kind of funny, though. Like, I think I mentioned this before, but my fondest dream of the, like, LGBT, every letter of the alphabet, is that coming out isn't a thing anymore. That, like, you just kind of come home with someone, or you say, hey, parents, I'm going out with Steve or Sarah or whatever, and it's not even a thing. You're just like, oh, you're attracted to Sarah? Good on you. She seems nice. It's like, that's it.
It's because there is
no coming out. Coming out stops being a thing because no one cares anymore. It's just the general support that you would get for any other reason from your parents. That's all I want. And the same thing for being transgender. The same thing for everything else. It's just like, oh, I actually don't feel like I'm a guy or I'm a girl or whatever. And the parents are like, neat. Glad you told us. And that's it. It's not really coming out.
Anything we can do to help? They should also say anything we can do to help.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Being like, oh, you need to go to the doctor? You wanna Is therapy a thing you want to go to? Would that help at all? And it's like, no, that's just not what we got right now. Right now, it's just kind of everyone has to come out because it doesn't work otherwise.
And I agree. We should never have to come out. And we want people to come out. We want you to be free. We want you to be liberated. But as with all things, make sure that you're financially stable. That if you're not and you're with someone who's going to totally disown you and kick you out, you probably should reconsider doing it. Also, there are other ways to come out. You know, you can come out as an atheist without using the word atheist, because that has an extremely negative connotation. You can just say, you know, hey, mom, dad, I'm not really that religious, or I'm agnostic, which kind of like is supposedly the middle ground now. Since words don't have intrinsic meanings, I guess that's changing.
Even that, so, like if religious belief of any kind of goes back to a personal experience, then that would be great also. People would actually have to investigate to find out what somebody believes in, instead of it being so apparent and necessary for everyone to know all the time.
Do you think that we'll ever get that far? Do you think
we already are
that far in our lifetime?
I think maybe not our lifetime, but I think we're moving in that direction, where it actually is more surprising that you're some branched off, interesting type of religious. That's sometimes more surprising than finding out someone's an atheist. It depends on the community, obviously, but it's happened some places, which is more than it used to be.
Yeah, one of our friends came over to help us decorate for the baby's birthday party, and she actually, like, we were having some kind of discussion, and I had, of course, kind of like a negative attitude of whatever religious thing we were speaking about. And then one of my friends tells that friend, yeah, didn't you know that David or Alice is an atheist, whatever you want to call me? And she's like, oh my God, an atheist? That was the literal reaction. And so I was like, you know, it's actually not that bad, right? It just means I had to calm her down. We're at the party. It's like, you know, it just means I'm not that religious. And she's like, yeah, I ain't religious either. I never read the Bible. I was like, yeah.
On that point, can I move to the Outfest?
Go ahead.
All right, so Philadelphia, the city I happen to live in, it's big enough you'll never find me. Don't even try. Anyway. Outfest is apparently a thing that Philadelphia does. And some friends of mine I basically told to text me whenever they see street preachers, because obviously. And this happened, and I'm like, holy shit, I didn't know Outfest was in Philadelphia. All right, I'll just go there. And there were these people that had, like, homosexuality is evil, you're living in sin, everything's terrible, blah, blah, blah. And everyone around, a lot of people talked to them, but the vast majority were flipping them off and walking away, turning their backs to them so they could get pictures and selfies, or just ignoring them all, like, wholesale. My favorite person was this woman that was just blowing bubbles at them for a solid 15 minutes. That's the proper response, ladies and gentlemen. When you're at a street festival and there are people giving you shit, either have a conversation with them, which I did for like an hour and a half, or I guess maybe an hour. I don't know how long I was there. It doesn't matter. Or just ignore them, or make a mockery of what they're saying. And it was just great. I'm actually planning to make a video on the poster they had, because it was the most, it like listed all these things that are sins, and the favorite one of mine is, what was it? It's alcoholic drink drunks. Like alcoholic beverage drunks. And it's like, as opposed to all the other kind of drunks. It was great. And it was just entertaining. And my favorite part of the day was that I finally got someone to say to my face, "Why are there still monkeys?"
Whoa, what?
And being fully serious about what they were saying. When that happened, I kept my composure because I have a rapport that I try to maintain when I'm talking to street preachers. But I swear the side of my eyebrow was twitching. I was like, "Holy shit. It's finally happened." Oh my god, yes.
Okay.
This is counter apologetics like wet dream right now. All right, so needless to say, my afternoon was lovely.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's kind of like now, like before it was really common to hear that, but now it's kind of like a wild monkey argument appeared. We gotta capture it. Weaken the argument and then throw your Pokeball.
We used reason.
I don't want to make the whole day about the protest.
Effective. We used evidence.
It's
not very effective.
I don't want to make the whole day about the protesters. This was like 2 solid streets, like 6 blocks of just carnival stuff. There was like a bouncy castle for the kids. There was a climbing wall. There was like one of the robotic bulls or whatever.
There
were so many people having fun. It was just fantastic. I was very happy to see how many upbeat, well-meaning people were just around enjoying themselves.
Now, wait, why is
it? To say what I'm getting ready to say.
Why is there so much immorality going around with a bunch of kids present? Okay, how can you be moral individuals? You know, I mean, have you not seen this latest video where this guy literally proves that if you're a homosexual, you are also a cannibal? Okay, homosexuality causes cannibalism. You start eating on those deliciously thick dicks, and then next thing you know it, you're eating it out of a hot dog.
The Reason podcast does not endorse the eating of human dicks out of hot dogs in hot dog buns.
I don't even know what to say about this.
Aeolus wasn't going to say it, so I will.
I don't even know what to say about this. Perhaps we should get to stop talking about this and.
Well, I mean,
since it has devolved to this level of madness and go on into the next.
Damn it, GE. I was talking about lovely times with a whole bunch of gay people and gay-supported people.
All right. Well, I've got another topic to cover really quick, and then we can get into the hypocrite of the week, who's actually not touching little kids this week, so that's interesting. But
thank you, sweet merciful Jesus.
Yeah, I want you guys to be able to hear this. So hold on.
Oh, we're gonna hear it.
Okay, that's not the.
I heard that. The fuck was it?
Yeah, and that wasn't. I didn't have this prepared before, but here I'll use my horrible singing skills in order to introduce this. Okay, so hold on. Let me. Okay, so money, 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 money. Money, money, money.
That was beautiful, GE.
Money. Creflo dollar bill, y'all.
I'm
Jesus.
impressed.
Jesus bled and died for us so that we can claim the promise of financial prosperity. Hashtag prosperity in Christ. Hashtag wealthy living. Hashtag abundant life.
Who's getting this abundant, wealthy life?
He is.
Yeah, apparently he is.
So what's the story, G?
Okay, well, if you guys don't know, Creflo dollar bill, y'all, he is the guy who actually was trying to get up funds to buy a $65 million plane, and he was pushing his pastor preacher junk on people, and getting people to donate to him so that he could buy this huge plane. And so, if you guys don't know, he pushes this whole prosperity gospel. And basically, people have spun the Bible as a way of having them donate a good chunk of their funds to the church. And so that is what Creflo Dollar is saying here, that Jesus bled and died for us so that we can lay claim to the promise of financial prosperity. That's why he uses those particular terms, is because he teaches the prosperity gospel, and he teaches these very specific Bible verses that say, like, you have to donate like 10% of your income, and you have to do this, you have to do that, and he calls it, a lot of these pastors or whatnot, they call it planting seeds. Like, you got to plant that seed, and good stuff will happen to you, right? So basically, they'll get on TV and they'll preach like, "Oh, do you got cancer? Well, I'm gonna tell you this right now. You donate $1,000. You donate $1,000, and God will heal you of those cancerous tumors." They'll get up there and they'll pitch that. And they'll say that you'll be healed if you donate so much amount of money. And they've actually, I believe John Oliver on Last Week Tonight did a really good investigation into this. But like there have been people that have given like hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars to these kind of preachers in hopes that they will be cured of cancer and all these illnesses and whatnot. But it just, they just end up dying because, of course, they're giving their money to this preacher who is just going to swim in their cross-shaped swimming pool that they had installed with the money that they got from cancer patients. And so that's what Creflo Dollar is pushing right here. And I think that this is one of the more horrible forms of Christianity as far as preying on those that are so desperate for hope when they feel hopeless.
I know you mentioned John Oliver, but if you'd like a really extensive look at these televangelists, you should check out God's Stuff. It's a really old show. It probably was before I was born, but it just goes to show that people have been exposing televangelists all along. God's Stuff. Someone said Hypocrite of the Week. That's actually not the Hypocrite of the Week.
Nope. This is not the Hypocrite, although he should be probably. But now.
We're ready. Now.
Q.
We're going to move into my favorite segment of Reason. Hypocrite of the Week! Woo! This week's Hypocrite of the Week is going to Vitaly Korchevsky, a pastor of the Slavic Evangelical Baptist Church in Brookhaven and chair of the Association of Slavic Baptist Churches in USA. In Glen Mills, Pennsylvania, he has been charged with securities fraud. So we've taken a break from those child molesting pastors to address this pastor. Korchevsky is accused of working for years with Ukrainian hackers on a $100 million insider trading scheme. A parallel civil suit filed by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission names him alongside 21 other defendants. According to his professional biography, why does a pastor need that anyway? Korchevsky became a born-again evangelical in 1981. He later moved to the U.S. and earned an MBA from Regent University, the Virginia college founded by televangelist Pat Robertson. So we knew that this hypocrite was destined for greatness.
Whenever I hear Pat Robertson, it's like... Whenever I hear Pat Robertson's name, it's like getting spit in the face.
Whenever I hear Pat Robertson's name, I think of the Tales from the Crypt Keeper guy. I just imagine him sitting there like, "Ha! Today we have a tale from Mary in Pennsylvania. Give me all your money," kind of thing.
That was too good.
Yeah, I loved Tales from the Crypt as I was growing up. I used to hide out and watch it when my parents weren't home, because I was like 10.
I'm telling.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's pretty interesting. I mean, he's of course one of an amalgam of people, but it just kind of seems like he was over there and stuff really wasn't working out and whatever he was doing before this. So he's like, there seems to be money in religion. And so he becomes born again evangelical and moves to the U.S. and it's like, there's a lot of dumbass people here. And then he goes to whatever shack Regent University's run out of, and he gets a whatever kind of degree. I wouldn't be surprised if you like went in there, paid like $2,000 and got like a degree or something. That would be really funny if that was it. I know recently Thunderfoot actually went to Google Maps and looked up Kent Hovind's college that he supposedly got his doctorate from. It is quite literally like like if it didn't have like a concrete slab as a foundation, it would be a shack in the middle of nowhere. Is what it would be.
That's interesting. I'm gonna need to look at that. But I wanted to say before anybody starts bitching about this, because every time I post on Instagram and Facebook, people start bitching. So Religion Hurts Humanity is the name of the page that I make these memes for. A lot of people usually like to bitch at me about this is not the result of the religion. The religion didn't tell him to do this, which is right. But this is an evil that correlates with the religion because it has allowed, first of all, religion masquerades around as basically the arbiters of morality, okay? The faultless and flawless people of the community who are supposed to basically represent a moral absolute. And yet they fail to do it every single time, and that's why we feel that this needs to be outlined every week. That's why we have a Hypocrite of the Week. Because religion has failed as a moral precedent. We're providing you with evidence of that every single week. And if the spokespeople of God cannot get it right, how is anyone going to get it right under your religion? So let's just accept that religion has failed as a moral precedent. And 9 times out of 10, maybe not in this specific case, but 9 times out of 10, the religion propagates the evils, especially in the case of child molesters, because what they do, as you've seen with the Catholic Church, is shuffle them around, give them forgiveness, and still give them access to more potential victims. So yes, at that point, the religion is causing the harm. Motherfucker. So don't talk shit on my posts.
Well, I think that religion hurts humanity is a pretty accurate term because, I mean, while there are some people that do good things and there are some people that use religion to do good things, religion is definitely not set up to do good things. In general, religion's very, in my eye, I mean, religion's very self-centered, it's very self-serving. And it's really just concerned about, the religion itself. I mean, it's an organism unto itself, in my opinion.
Someone said, Moose Gal asked us, what do we think of Ben Affleck? Affleck! That was the first thing that came to mind.
What has Ben Affleck been doing?
Batman.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Like, why are we judging Ben Affleck right now?
Oh, right, so no, he just had that what was it, Real Time with Bill Maher thing, and Sam Harris book in there, really. I mean, that's just a really big Bible story, isn't it? CBN.
You only need one book.
Yeah, I know, right? CBN, by the way, means Christian Broadcasting Network. They have their own Center Drive road that just goes around the entire campus. Me with my university, I mean, it takes up a little bit more room. Like, it has its own zip code. But I kind of figure this probably only takes up maybe about a quarter of a zip code. But nobody's college can be big. But yeah, that's Regent University is where he went to, and this is Pat Robertson, the Crypt Keepers university that he founded. I wonder if he draws any kind of profits off of this university.
I don't know how many people actually go there. Because, I mean, there are small schools. That doesn't necessarily make them bad. But it's like, I want to know what's being taught there, and if it's actually accredited.
It's probably accredited, and they're probably it's probably a Bible school.
Let's see.
A lot of them are not for profit, though, GE, which is is a little surprising. There's some Bible colleges that operate solely to fulfill their operating cost, and then I'm not too sure what they do with the rest of the money. Some of them have their own charities that they do. Some of them have, I guess this really doesn't count, but missionary trips, we shouldn't even count those. But if they've got a legitimate charity, I guess we gotta recognize them.
Yes. Good charities are good charities. Doesn't matter where they come from. Well, most of the time.
Schools, Commission on Colleges, it's credited. That's institutional. And then, hold on.
This is very dry.
Yeah,
put that in the description or something. Let's move on.
All right, we gotta stamp this fool with Hypocrite of the Week.
Yeah.
You got your mallet eater.
Always.
Let's go ahead and stamp him with Hypocrite of the Week for running a $100 million securities fraud while masquerading around as the pastor of his church. Go ahead and stamp.
I have the mallet. I don't know where the gavel went. Oh well, I'll just hit this box. All right.
So I need to say it again. No, we're just stamping him. Hypocrite of the Week.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
There we go.
And don't question me when I'm exposing these pastors for their hypocritical actions. Because you don't get to say that you're the fucking moral police, basically. You get to tell everyone else what the fuck to do while not following your own system of morality. Okay? So you will be exposed. And I hope that one day, we create a really long playlist of Hypocrite of the Week. And so when people are like, pastors aren't that bad, or pastors don't do this, we just go, here's Hypocrite of the Week, and here's Religion Hurts Humanity, so you can see all the ways in which religion hurts humanity. And I have used that. I've directed a few people to the Religion Hurts Humanity YouTube channel, where there's actually specials on there in ways that it kind of goes in depth in some of the ways that religion does hurt humanity. So there's the shameless plug for Religion Hurts Humanity. Check out the channel.
Definitely check out Dieter Lukum. He's got a lot of videos on Joshua Feuerstein, as well as other people.
I do other things.
He's not a one-trick pony. He's got other stuff. I can't name any right now, but he does them.
He's a one-trick pony.
No,
I have 147 videos. 18 of them are Josh Feuerstein.
Are those 18 the most popular 18?
Shut the hell up, Ale.
Enough said. But
they actually aren't. I have a number
has...
of my top videos are other things, but yes, Josh Feuerstein has helped me become popular.
Well,
you also have a channel. Can I throw this out there really quickly? Don't you also have a channel where you talk about depression and things like that, doing battle with depression, how to overcome it?
I'm thinking of merging it with this one, but yeah, it's Determined Light. But I'm thinking of destroying that one and merging it with this one. It's hard to talk about depression.
Lofty ambition, we got to give you a pat on the back. Even though your claim to fame is Joshua Feuerstein, we got to give you that hand clap for creating videos to help people that are battling with depression. I've seen some of the comments you get on there, and I thought that was a pretty ambitious goal you have there, and you're really helping some people out. So, despite your Joshua Feuerstein antics, we will give you some credit where credit is due.
I hate you so much.
All right. Well,
check out GE's channel because you're already on it, so you might as well go ahead and check it out.
Yeah. If you're in love with Dieter Lucum, or if you're in love with God Works Out, and you happen to be watching this, also subscribe to me. I do stuff too. Tomorrow I have I have a Bible questions video that's going to be coming out tomorrow where I talk about who created the heaven and the earth. I bet it's a trick question. I bet you guys don't know who created the heaven and the earth because, the Bible's so tricky.
Me!
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Satan. And then, like Tuesday this week, Ben Carson said some dumb shit about climate change as well as evolution, and I rag on him a good bit. One of my dogs makes a special appearance in that as Not the Wolf. And then Wednesday I do comments. On Thursday I've been putting up interviews that I've been doing. And Friday is usually logical fallacies. So I hope that you guys will join me for that. So, yeah.
Don't forget to check out my channel. I've been on a little hiatus because I've been putting together my Atheist album. But I'm going to try to get these videos back like maybe once a week. It won't be every day like you were getting before. You got spoiled.
Ooh.
So
Are you gonna put up like music videos of your Atheist album?
Maybe. It's still coming together. So I've probably got about 60% of the songs done for it. So I've still got to finish up the rest of the songs, get album artwork, get it mixed and mastered, engineered.
I didn't know if you did the whole music video kind of thing at all, but because I know that a lot of people like seeing those. Look,
We've been talking about ourselves for way too long.
We have been. Y'all get out of here.
We might want to just end the show.
Yeah, everybody get out of here. Where I'm going to go and probably play some Rocket League or do something. I don't know. But
I'm going to play League. Working on Jungle. Yeah.
I'm actually about to do some actual work and work on a video. So if you don't support clowns like these, you support people like me that actually making videos,
and the
making
music. Show.
Stop
talking about yourself.
Doing things in the atheist community, representing for motherfuckers. Go over to patreon.com/reason and support my channel. Deuces.
Yeah. See you guys later.
Goodbye.